This video will show you a system and process for obtaining the most knowledge in the quickest amount of time from books. This is the system that I use personally, and one that I have evolved over several years. If you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate your support. Books are an amazing resource. They are a culmination of many hours, sometimes years of effort by the author, bringing together information, knowledge, and wisdom. Luckily for us, it has never been easier to consume books. At the time of this video, Amazon has a staggering 33 million books for sale, with about 6 million offered digitally via Kindle. With that much to choose from, how do you begin? I want to introduce to you a system that I use, which is best visualized as a funnel. The idea of a funnel is to represent a process that starts with many inputs and narrows to more meaningful outputs. Feeding into the funnel is the first phase, intake. The intake process is all about how you sort through the millions of options and find books most relevant to you. First, you need a way to keep track of your intake. I recommend using either Amazon wishlists or Goodreads to maintain your master reading list. You should continually be looking to build this list out and grow it over time. I like to dedicate time every week to find books to add to my list. For inspiration, I typically turn to three main sources. I use Amazon and Goodreads recommendation systems. I also browse by topics, ratings, and newly released books fairly regularly. If anything catches my eye, I add it to my list. Another great source of book ideas is from social media, my favorites being Twitter and YouTube. I find several posts or videos every week recommending books on all ranges of topics. The final step of the intake process is to periodically organize and prioritize your list. You should find a system that works for you, but I usually organize my list by broad topic area. I also like to keep a next up list with my top 5 books of interest. This brings us to the next phase of the funnel, filtering. Over time, your intake list will likely grow to dozens or even hundreds of books. You now need to decide which books are worth your time. I find it useful to filter and reprioritize my list at least monthly. To do this, I first often read reviews on Amazon, both positive and negative. This will often provide a lot of insightful information if the book is meaningful for me to consider further. I also like to look for book reviews and summaries online. You can often find these for free on blogs or YouTube, but there are also some great paid services such as Shortform and Blinkist. I recommend starting with the free options, then evolving if you find a need. The last part of filtering depends on your personal interests and focus areas at the time. This will change, so organizing your list based on what you want to learn about is important. Now that you have your top book to read, it's time to start reading. There are 3 formats to choose from: print, digital, or audio. Choosing the right one is a personal preference. I used to always gravitate toward print books, but over time have shifted mostly to Kindle-based digital content. The 2 reasons are for convenience and so that I can organize my knowledge over time. That being said, for books that I find life-changing, I often also purchase a print copy. Audiobooks are another great resource. I find this especially true for books that I want to get through quicker, either as a refresher or as an introduction. Audiobooks also add another level of convenience, allowing you to consume content while driving, out for a walk, or at the gym. While reading a book, remember that it is perfectly okay if you don't read every word of every page. Let me say that again because it is really important. You are in control and you can stop reading a book at any point if it is not resonating. It is also okay to skim or skip pages or chapters entirely. It is your book and your time after all. I often find myself skimming parts of books, especially ones that are repetitive or where I have existing experience already. I also often stop reading books, either temporarily or permanently. It is okay to not like a book, even if it has a 5-star review. The last stage of the funnel is reserved for the very few books that are extraordinarily insightful to you. I call this stage immersion. The immersion stage is time-consuming, but extremely valuable for retaining and building knowledge. Although it is often obvious, this is why I choose carefully which books fall into this category. The point of immersion is to really absorb the key content and also be able to refer back to it over time. The first step is to go through all of your highlights, reread and organize them. Although I highlight most books I read, I only really dive into the ones in this stage in detail. You may even choose to reread sections or chapters now that you have additional context. Next, it is important to write your own personal book summary. This book summary should call out all of the important things that you learned or want to remember. I like to add additional sections such as audience, my reflections, my actions, and related content. I recommend writing your summaries digitally using tools such as Notion, Evernote, or even Google Drive. This way you can organize and link your content over time. Also consider writing a public review for the book. This will help you think through the quality content even more and contribute back to the community. Lastly, use the book to find related material for your intake. This is a great way to reinforce or build upon the deep knowledge you have obtained. There you have it, a system you can use to maximize your learning through books that will benefit you immediately and for the rest of your life. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more content. Have a great day.